You're listening to Reptiles With, a podcast by HSR Exotics, where we talk about, well, reptiles, that being animal related, product related, news related, and anything else going on in the hobby. Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Yoshii. You're listening to Reptiles with Yoshii and Alex. There we go. So Alex and I do HSR Exotics together with our brother-in-law David, who's sometimes here, sometimes not, because now he lives in Orlando. So this episode I wanted to talk about what we do in HSR Exotics, and I want you guys to meet Alex because, well, he's going to be pretty much on here as much as I am. So take it away, Alex.
What's going on, guys? Well, like you said, we're part of HSR Exotics. We started a couple of years ago and kind of started out random, and I was going through some stuff, and my cousin just shows up to my house, and he's like, "Oh man, this snake is cool, right? It's the first one that I ever saw, like, close up. I always used to have, like, I like snakes. They're cool, but I had kind of like a respect for them. I'm like, they're snakes.
You don't want to like fuck with them too much, but you're
like, like they're there, and you hear the stigma, snakes, they bite, they, all these things that people think because
everybody thinks all of them are fucking venomous.
Venomous, super venomous.
They're all
of them. Yeah, so he just shows up to my house and he's like, "Yeah, the snake is cool, right? We got this one and this one, whatever." I go, "Yeah, he's cool." He's like, "Hold it." I was like, "What?"
It was exactly like that. It was the pastel ball python.
Yeah.
You still have that?
Still have him. Named him Slytherin because, of course,
Harry Potter.
Yeah, he brought it out. I held it. I was like, yeah, he's cool. Give him back to him. He's like, "Yeah, it's okay. He's like, "All right, it's yours." I was like, "What? What do you mean it's mine?" He's like, "Yeah, it's yours." I was like, "Okay, I guess I got a snake now."
Yeah.
And that's kind of how that started. But we didn't really have the idea of, breeding ball pythons, having a bunch of them or anything. It was kind of a thing that he brought it to me just so I can get over some of the stuff that I was going through. Yeah. And, it did help. It brought like a new hobby to me. And where things really went kind of out of control is...
Hello.
I used to have a job working at an auction. And like some new guy started there. He actually ended up becoming a really close friend of ours, Ito. And
we have to have him on.
Definitely have to have him on one day. I was talking to my other coworkers, about how I had a snake, and saying all these things like, "Oh, you got a snake? I breed snakes, and I'm actually getting out of the hobby, trying to get rid of some or whatever." I was like, I guess I'll look at them. I mean, whatever. I wasn't expecting to buy anything. And about an hour later, he shows up with the snakes, and I somehow came home with 3 new snakes.
Yeah.
I just called my cousin. I'm like, "Which do you think are best?" Like, he's like, "Best for what?" I was like, I guess we're breeding now. I don't know.
Yeah, that's exactly how that went. We didn't even have a grip on them because I had gotten like a tegu. I didn't want the tegu. Somebody just gave me this tegu, and then I had traded them for some ball pythons. And that's when Berman was helping us out with that with the turtle stuff. And then I was just like, maybe we just breed these ball pythons. You called and you were like, "Hey, so it was like a bumblebee, a lesser bee, and something else."
Yeah, he had a bunch of different little combos there, but what we ended up taking that day was a killer bee, a bumblebee, and a lesser bee, which was the first mean snake that we ever had.
Yeah.
And the beginning of things, I just brought those home, and after that, everything just got out of control.
Yeah, everything got out of control. I'm somebody that I can never do something to a small caliber. I always have to do everything in excess. I get really obsessed. I get it from my dad. So we got it. At first, it was Sasha, which was just a normal, a very old normal, because it was somebody's pet that they had for years. Bless you. That was my dad. Sorry. So we had Sasha. We had the killer bee, the bumblebee, the lesser bee, and then from there, we had we. I wouldn't say that we didn't have a grip of how to take care of the animals.
No,
but it was like a situation where it was like, okay, we're going to be getting these animals. We need to figure it out. We ended up buying the rack from somebody who was selling out their shop. And it was a 12 high rack. So we were just like, well, now we got to fill them up. We got the space. Now we got to fill them up.
As it always goes.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, after that is when you found the pies.
Yeah. I was just, you know how it is, if anybody's listening to this and you're in the reptile business, you're constantly just looking for new animals. Do you need new animals?
No.
Probably not. Do you have space for animals? Probably not. But you'll make space, you know?
Exactly.
So
that.
I'm just scrolling. And all of a sudden, this was like a couple of years ago when pies were still relatively expensive, And I just found a pastel pied male and a normal pied female, and
they were like
I think
300 400 grams, so they weren't like fresh babies.
Yeah, and they were decently priced. It was like I think like a 2 hour in Port St. Lucie, I think is where it was.
Yeah, so 2 hour drive.
So I found them, and my cousin's like, I don't know, man, like I don't know if we can afford that right now. I don't know if we should make the drive over there. We were taking care of the animals good, but like, do we go ahead and get more animals? And I was like, I just looking at him, telling him, bro, why not, man? Like, I'll pay for them. It is what it is. Let's just do it. So we made the drive, and we got those animals, and
I think that's when it really like became real for us, because I mean, in hindsight, it wasn't really a lot of money, but it was more money than we knew we could spend on these animals.
Yeah, like, you were relatively new to the snakes because you already had your turtles and tortoises and all that stuff going. Yeah. So we were new into the snakes. So to us, that was a big investment at the time. Looking back at it now, we're like, that's nothing.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But so we got those. I mean, and then that's when we started like kind of making a plan of exactly how to breed everything. When these get older, what we're gonna do with these, and we started running with it. Yeah,
after that is when it really became like a complete thought, where it was like, okay, we're gonna fucking fill all this stuff up. We're going to breed next year, so we need adults, and then Ito sold. Well, he was getting rid of the rest of his stuff. So he ended up, I don't know if I think he just gave us those animals, or did we?
No. The lesser bee and those.
No. Because after that, it was, he was just like, yo, these are the last animals that I have. Do you guys want to come pick them up? I think we did pay for them. I don't really remember, if I'm being honest with you, because it was an extreme gene. It was a blackback. It was just some odds and ends.
Yeah.
It was like a het pied or something like that.
Yeah, and we got those from him.
And a rack.
Yeah, and a rack.
More space. Yeah.
But that first year that we started breeding, we actually had pretty decent like odds, so to say. We had 12 females, right?
Yeah, we filled the whole rack.
We had 12 females, and out of those 12 females, I think we got 8 clutches.
Yeah.
So for our first year, we're like, that is pretty good odds. And we did get pretty good odds based on what we were supposed to get, but they were all bumblebees.
Yeah, we produced so many bumblebees. And, I mean, I wasn't even upset about it. I was like, no, we did it. Yeah. This was a success.
Yeah, at least we know we can do it. And, I mean, they were all bumblebees, but...
They were our bumblebees. After that is when we were like, okay, we know how to breed these ball pythons now, so we just need to keep replicating what we're doing. And we were doing it out of our uncle's garage, so it was like a lot of back and forth. And was the first year that we were breeding the ball pythons, was that the year we went to Daytona?
Yeah, it was after the first year, I believe.
Okay,
if I'm not mistaken.
And then
because remember the first year we just bred those females, and then we just got crazy with it, and we just kind of got like whatever females popped up, we just got whatever. And then from there,
that's exactly what it was.
Right before the second year of breeding, we went to Daytona. And when we went to Daytona and we started looking at these animals, we're like, okay, we need to slow down and actually make a plan for what projects we're going to be doing. Because the thing is, in the beginning, we just started getting animals like, okay, this is going to be cool. This is going to be cool. This is going to be cool. And after we're like, okay, but let's streamline it and make it a better plan from there. And then Daytona, we got a couple cool like things for our clown project. We got the new little rack that's like our V16 hold back rack for like V18. Sorry, my bad. There you go. Yeah. I don't know my numbers. No, I didn't graduate school.
Oh god. But yeah, so we got, because we came from Daytona, we came home with a couple sub-adult girls.
Mm-hmm. We came back with our first GHI.
Yeah, the first GHI, which at that time, it was when everybody was crazy about the GHI Mojaves and the GHI Lessers, and that was like the big thing. So we got the GHI and we're like, bro, this was a steal. This was the thing. Yeah, it was a long trip, very long trip.
Definitely, especially when you think of the fact that we went up there all comfortable and everything, you know, in a little car, and we came back, everybody's sitting like this, just closed up together. The only one that was comfortable was me because I was driving. Yeah, that's it. Everybody else was like racks on top of them or snakes on top of them. Yeah. But we did what we had to do. Like, it was our first time in Daytona, which was an awesome experience. It was really cool.
We haven't gone back.
Definitely, we haven't gone back. Yeah, but it's been more of an issue of like we tend to like get in the not in the habit,
bro.
But like,
literally, it's like super inconvenient because I mean, and I don't mean it in this way, but that's the weekend of my anniversary always.
Yeah, and not only that, like we always tend to either get like a new rack or we end up getting like a new female or a nice thing, and then we're like, oh man, Daytona's 2 weeks away. We don't have any money for this. Like,
yeah, I just spent all the money that we would have spent over there in Daytona, but I spent it here now. So
yeah, that's exactly what happens every time.
Yeah,
but hopefully next year is the year we'll go back, because I know that this year we're just gonna.
This year. I mean, literally, it's next week.
Yeah, everything going on right now, we haven't really even thought about going anywhere.
No, dude. Like, something else. I was talking to Alex from Imperial. And he was telling me, because they were at the show in Tampa, I think like a week ago. And he was telling me, he's like, bro, you guys need to start doing shows again. Or you guys need to start doing shows, rather. And I was like, bro, like we used to do shows when it was just the Turtles and Tortoises. Then we started ball pythons, and we're like, we produced them. We don't have any fucking displays. We bought the displays, and we never started doing shows. Yeah. And then this year was a year where like, yo, we're going to do shows. Everything's going to work out. And COVID.
Yeah. Yeah, this year it's been a crazy year, but it's also been a crazy year in a good sense. Obviously, COVID is a bad thing, and you know, hopefully it gets figured out. But it's been really good for us on the growth of our animals.
It's so weird because it's like, I mean, obviously I feel bad for all the stuff that's going on in the world, and a lot of people lost their lives because of this whole thing. But for us, it's given us like almost like a strong drive to be like, yo, like we could have lost our lives here and we didn't, and we really need to focus on the thing that we really like to do, and this just happens to be it. And this year, as far as how much it has grown, has been ridiculous.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
By the way, pardon our like and yo, you know, we're very Miami born and raised. Yeah. So
have we said like and yo a lot?
Yeah. About say 5 months ago, we got our first like big boy cage rack.
I was like, a big boy what?
Yeah, but we got our first big boy rack. We got an ARS. We love the rack. Like, yeah, the second we got that rack, we're like, yeah, we're gonna get more of these.
I love the fact that they have the hybrid one, and it's like a lot cheaper.
Yeah,
and then because we have two now, so we have the 50-40. And then we just got the 70-30. And then as we were building it, we realized, we're like, yo, thank God we didn't get the actual version of this because it does not fit through the door. So, yeah. Yeah,
definitely. So we had to build it in here. Build it outside each level, then assemble it inside. But it's 100% worth it because the rack is awesome. And the second that we finished building it, a week later, we're like, I guess we sold some animals. We can get another one. Yeah, you know, and we just have to fill them up again.
Yeah,
it's just a cycle. It's get a new rack,
Yeah.
Oh, I have more spaces. Fill it up. But no, we have a bunch of females that are like growing up, holdbacks. You know, we've had some really nice animals this year, and you know, like I say,
very grateful for that.
It's not about the money or anything. It's just these animals are so beautiful. They come out so nice or anything. Because if it was about the money, we would have been under a long time ago.
Yeah, and we probably would have been like, we're spending a lot of money here. We shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, but for me, I don't really care because we're doing something that we really enjoy, and these animals, it's so crazy because we have a good amount of animals, and each one has their own personality, which people don't know about with snakes.
Yeah,
and it's pretty damn crazy to see that, like, oh, this one's shy, this one's mean, this one, you know, it's nice but not on feeding day. And you know, like, and
there's some that literally like you or deal with you rather, and with me they're like, I don't want him.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy because people see snakes and they don't really think that they have personalities, but they really do. And it's awesome.
You know what it is? Because Andrea tells me it too. She's like, I don't mind the snakes, but it's like with a different animal you kind of like see what they're trying to do with you, but the snakes is just like a blank stare. And you're like, I don't know what you want from me.
Yeah, because if you're somebody that doesn't really work with the animals all the time, you know, that we work with the animals. So we see them. We see what their tendencies are. Even if they're just looking at you, we know, okay, this one's about to snap. Or, oh, this one's just making sure that you don't make a wrong move right before they ball up, you know. But with somebody that's not with the animals all the time, they kind of 90% of the time look like they're about to freaking snap on you.
Yeah.
And they don't.
Yeah. But I enjoy them, and it's been great this year. It really has. We had bought the 7030, and that's the thing, because we bought the 7030, and it was to replace old racks, and then we filled up the 7030, and we're like, now we need to grow more. So that's the thing, because it's like, it was a mix of like me realizing like, okay, both racks are filled pretty much, and I know that that's what we needed, but then Manny told me, he's like, yeah, man, remember every year you gotta grow. And like, you know that, obviously, but when somebody else tells you, and then he's like, every year you gotta grow, you're like, I need to grow this year, so let's get another one.
Yeah, and the good thing about it is that since now we've had more of a plan the last 2 years. We started 3 years ago? It was 3.5 years ago.
Yeah.
The last 1.5 to 2 years, we've really focused on what we want to do. We start looking at, okay, this project, and we looked 2-3 years down the line. This project, we looked 2-3 years down the line, and we've gotten to the point where a lot of like we're not even barely going out to get animals from anybody because we're growing exactly what we want out of our own holdbacks. Yeah. So it's
very limited. Yeah. Not that it's not even like a sense that we don't want to purchase animals from other people, but we're very like, okay, we really need that animal for this specific thing that we are doing, instead of like, I mean, obviously a lot of the snakes that are really getting popularity right now are like really nice. Yeah. You know, but it's not so much about chasing all those other projects, even though we're like, man, maybe we should get this, man, maybe we should get that. But it's more like, okay, let's make sure what we're doing here is like solid, because if we just start buying random things, we're not gonna, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, we are trying to do this for business, you know? Yeah. So like, we need to really like get this foundation going and not just like buy a bunch of random things, because we're really not going to see a return on that. We're going to be spending $5,000 on this, $5,000 on that, $5,000 on this, just because it just came out, or it's this is the new big thing, you know. And then it's just like, okay, we have a whole bunch of the new big things and we don't know what we're going to do with them. Like, why would we do that?
And then it kind of gives us a sense of, when we have an animal, we look at them, and by picking and choosing exactly which animals we want to keep, like if one's a little bit darker, if one's a little bit lighter, okay, do we want to do this project a little bit darker, you know? Yeah. Over time, as it goes on,
it's like we did the first clutch with the head albino, and we were like, okay, we're gonna hold back because it was the albino het pied to head albino. Yeah. So everything that was normal was het albino, possible het pied. So it was a thing about like, okay, which ones are we gonna keep? Well, you should keep the darker ones, because darker albino, darker albinos look best because they have the most contrast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's this year is when we see it the most. We see like we have some animals that we just look at. We're like, man, I know that it's just a pastel banana, but it just looks so different. Like, it doesn't look like what everybody else has there, and it's like, yeah, that's our animal. Like, it's nice.
Yeah, it's a thing about pride, and it's like knowing what you have and being like, I know and I stand by this animal and all that. So pretty much, we work on the ball pythons. We started 2 years ago because it was like we did a season and a half with a ball python because it was a season and then off season, and then we were getting ready for the next season, and then I spoke with Andrea, which is my fiance right now, and I was like, man,
I don't think she's gonna like you.
Well, right now, and then we're getting married in a month.
No, I understand.
2 months,
yeah. Just being a dick.
And then I was like, yo, I like these blue tongue skinks. Yeah, that was a big like game changer because I just started like really getting involved with those, and then those also helped us out a lot because it was how do you say, you could hardly put them in a bin, like the demand was so high for them. You know, like they were born, you set them up, you post a picture, and somebody's already like, I want that. And it's just like, but I think
I need to feed it first.
I need to feed it. I also kind of like really want to keep
every
it
single one you want to keep.
Yeah,
that's the problem with these reptiles because you see them, and once you're invested in them and you really see them for like what they are, you know, and not just what everybody thinks about them, you start, damn, each one has something different. They're like, I just want to keep it. Like every single one you want to keep, but you know you can't. Yeah,
especially with the blue. When we did the litter of 20 this year, it was like, damn, they're all so nice though. They're all so nice. I didn't want to get rid of any, but yeah, and they helped out a lot because it was like, that's kind of what funded, you know, the racks and helped us out get like specific projects that we wanted to work with the balls, and it's been nonstop with them. They're the best. I actually posted a thing today where that one right there, you see where it says marinara. Yeah. He was just, like, I opened it and I was getting the food ready. I just had the cans there, and I opened it. And he just popped up. He's like, "Yo, dog, feed me."
No, but it's true. It's like I said, like it's not just the snakes. Like all reptiles, they all have their own personality as any other animal would. Any dog, cat, anything. They all have their personalities. You have some dogs, some cats that are just dicks, and some that are nice, some that are lazy as hell. And reptiles are exactly the same way, and people don't really know that about them. So it's like you have that one that comes out, and then you have that other one that's like you open the bin and
he comes out with his mouth open. That's the party trick. Every time that somebody comes over to look at the collection, it's like, okay, check this out, and I open the bin and he's like, get him, and he just like comes out with his mouth.
Everybody jumps.
Yeah, we're like, oh my god. Like, no, he's good.
Man.
You know what's weird, because when I first got him, and that's the male that I got with the female that was from Alex from Imperial, and when I had got him, he's like, oh, he's like really vigorous and like he gets like really mean with the females, and so I was worried. But with me, like, he was good, like when I was handling him when I first got him. But after the first season, that's when he like lost his shit. That's when he was like, yeah, I'm fucking vigorous, like I want to get this going. Where them hoes at? That's what he said.
It's crazy because it's like an animal that might not work for somebody else or work for you, or an animal that doesn't work for you works for somebody else. Like we have we like to call him asshole because he's that's the one ball python that you just can't handle. It's weird. Like, he's just so mean, and we have other snakes that are mean, but that one just doesn't let you. He doesn't work with you. We have other ones. All you gotta do is you tap him on the head, you pick him up, good. That one, you tap him on the head, he's like, and psych. And
one of his babies came out the same way too.
I don't know, but
they all have their personality.
Like I said, he didn't work for somebody else, but for us, he didn't work the first year, and it's just patience and sometimes just letting the animal get comfortable. It's gonna take a year. It's gonna take 2 years, but let them get comfortable. It's not about what we want. It's about what the animal that's happened. Yeah, you know, that's the most important thing, is to make sure these animals are fed, comfortable, healthy. That's the most important thing out of anything.
Now we are getting into gargoyle geckos, which is the new thing that we're trying to get into, I guess. I mean, I had bought 6 of them, but only with the intention to keep 2 for us, which is
the intention.
Yeah, the intention. But they're all growing up, and I'm like, I want to keep them all. It's a bunch of like red stripe stuff. It's all the fault of the guys from Tiki's Geckos because they post really nice stuff, and we're like, God,
bro, it's like,
damn it.
I know, man. You just see you see some people and their animals. You're like, I want that. And like
Yeah.
it started off. Josh had turtles and tortoises that he did with Marco.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, we get snakes, and then next thing you know,
'Cause
skinks, and then
exactly.
it's just that every reptile you see them, you're like, man, there's something in every reptile that once you're invested in it, you're like, I like this about that reptile, I like this about that reptile, and man, it's just it's crazy. It really is.
I look back and I think about like growing up because I didn't like getting dirty. I didn't like you would catch lizards and I would like be terrified. I would be like, yo, get that shit away from me.
Yeah,
like I don't want.
Because when we were little, it's normal. It's you. My dad used to do it all the time with me and my brothers and sister, and he just get a lizard, put it on the ear or whatever, and then Josh was just like,
yo, get that shit away from me. I don't want that.
No.
Yeah, I was terrified.
You've grown out of it, except for frogs.
Yeah, I'm terrified of frogs and toads, and I saw one today in the garage, man. I don't even know how he got there. He was just there.
He was probably on one side of the garage. You're like, I'm gonna leave this open all day. Let him go out by himself.
Yeah, no. Where do you think the future is?
The future?
Yeah.
Rule the reptile. No, I'm kidding. Nah, man. Just I just want to keep on growing, and as long as like we can sustain the animals and take care of them the way that we're supposed to, man, just keep on growing and growing and growing, and hopefully one day we have our own place. If we could do some cool like thing for kids to come and learn about reptiles in a shop or something,
that'd be cool.
That would be really cool, because like, for example, we have a niece and a nephew, and from a very early age we taught them kind of about these animals, and it's really cool to see that, like, the way everybody says, like, you teach somebody to be a certain way. So we taught my niece and my nephew that these reptiles are like, they're nice. You just have to give them respect, and they're nice. They're cool. They look nice. Every time before my cousin moved up to Orlando, my niece it just happened, so we're still kind of getting over it.
Yeah, we're still dealing with it.
My niece would come in to the room and she'd be like, oh, show me this one, show me this one, show me this one. And that's one of the things that I love most about this, teaching the young ones that as long as you respect these animals. We tell her, just stand a little bit back, because sometimes the animals do snap and they think food's coming or something. Just teach them, take a step back, and then we'll show you. We'll take out the animal to show you. Let them know that it's not a bad thing. Then let them hold it or whatever. And it's.
You made me sorry. I'm laughing because you made me think about the time that Sarah was when we were in the other room, and so Sarah is our niece. I open a bin of a skink. She's like, Tio, I want to see this. She calls them stinks, right? I want to see the stinks. So I open a bin. And it was feeding time, so the scent was in the air. So the animal comes out. It wasn't even not even with his mouth open or anything, but it came out, and it jumped out of the bin. And she looked at me, terrified. She was like, "No!" And she just booked it out of there. It was.
I mean, it happened with me once too. We were in the room, and I was showing her different ones, and I would just always let her point out which one she wants to see and show her. And if one is a little bit more on like the attitude side, I just go, oh, this one's tired, is what I would tell her.
Yeah.
And then I go and I show her another one. But one time I wasn't thinking, and it was one of the babies that it's from the asshole.
The asshole, yeah.
And itself is kind of a dick.
Yeah.
And so I opened the bin. She was on a step ladder, and the thing just launches really quick, and she's like, ah, like, I took her out, like, she was fine. The second that she gets off the stepladder, I don't like that one, can I see this one? But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you teach them that they all have their own personalities, and not every single one's gonna be like that.
I wonder if Sam's gonna listen to this because she doesn't know that happened. I wonder if she's gonna listen to this and be like, God fucking damn it, you guys didn't tell me that.
I mean, it's not like she doesn't know that these things happen.
Yeah.
As long as, you know, she never got bit.
Yeah.
Because that you can't hide.
Yeah. Like, oh no, she bit herself?
Well, if she's listening right now, she's like, what am I doing with these guys? But,
well,
yeah.
I guess that's it. This was Reptiles with Yoshii and Alex.
Yeah.
See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to follow us at HSR_Exotics and on Facebook as Half Shell Ranch. If you're listening and want to watch, you can check us out on YouTube as HSR Exotics. If you're watching and want to listen, make sure to check the description to see what streaming platforms we're on. This was Reptiles with, a podcast by HSR Exotics.